Alright, this is Actionpac. This system here is for Dysart Corporation. It's a custom ME1095CX2 linear netway system with top-off lane gates. As you can see, this system has a bulk hopper that has the, we basically have three types of products here. The main hopper has the main product. Then we have two separate dosers that open up as we're dumping into the weigh bucket. Each doser is set to a certain time and speed so that we get the perfect mix of the main product that will be eventually dumped into this bucket. This bucket, once it becomes ready, dumps through the funnel down to the mixer buckets where we mix for a few seconds until we mix the product fully. Once that is ready, the containers, according to the logic to make sure we don't double dump and all that good stuff, we'll basically dump through the funnel to the container and continue to cycle. So just real quick, I'm going to go over all the features. We just went over the mechanical part of it. On the feeders itself, we have what's called lane gates. At the very top you can kind of see. What that does is it helps the transition from going and dumping the bulk of the product to dribbling the last little bit to get the accuracy. We also have similar types of shutoff gates for the dosers. Those basically open and close so that we make sure and not get too much of the product rolling out of the feeder or out of the doser into the weigh bucket. Down here you can see we have dual motors, one controlling the mixtures that are inside. They turn they're always on. And then down here you can see we have our anti-static brush so that basically these containers don't build up a bunch of static which can cause issues with the control systems. We have over here just the standard on-off switch for our motor controller that controls the conveyor, the speed. Super easy. This is the scale portion of the weigh system. This is what does all of the weighing and filling, which means getting the product from the hopper, the feeder, and into the weigh bucket. The knobs here control the index duration for how long we want for a container to index. That's always preset. Over here are the control systems, basically that make sure no double dumping happens. We make sure we get the right portion of the dosers and any kind of manual operation that needs to happen just in case we have to stop and restart. So with that said, what we're going to do is just go ahead and start the system. We're going to do about 1,000 grams into the container. We're just going to let it run for a while. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and run the system. We just want to make sure that all of the dosers, the front and back, lane 1 and front and back of lane 2 and the mixers are all on. As long as that's ready to go, you just come over to the scale here. Now, there may or may not be product in the weigh buckets when you first start up. That means if once you dump your product in the bulk hopper, some of it might have dribbled in. So just to make sure that when we start the scale and it re-zeros, we want to make sure that it's completely empty. So we start out, we'll go ahead and just dump lane 1. So the product basically goes into the weigh bucket, comes down to the mixer, mixes, and then dumps. Once it gives it enough time to index, or sorry, to fall from the mixer to the container, it'll index. Now let's make sure lane 2 is empty as well. So now we know that the weigh buckets are empty and that we're ready to run the system. So we just hit run, and it should go. Right now we don't have product in the dosers themselves. That's an easy fix. As soon as we get that in there, all it is a matter of adjusting the time and the speed of the feeder to get the right portion of product that we need. may notice that the mixer buckets may or may not alternate one after the other. The way the system works to speed the process up is, as long as one of these are ready, it'll just choose one at random and dump it. Because the container doesn't care which one is ready, as long as there is one, it's going to choose one and dump it. Now also, because this system is going to incorporate two different types of containers, this is, I believe, the larger of the two, or actually the smaller of the two. What we have here on this switch is two separate times, and that time is the time it takes from when the mixer bucket opens to when and how long the product takes to fall through the funnel and into the container. Obviously, for a smaller container, you're going to need less time. So this switch here allows you to adjust the duration on how long we give for the product to fall into the different types of containers. As you can see right now, it's set to these small containers.